Hey guys, welcome to another 90-day recap chat right here on CBiz Media where we talk faith, love, and trends. Now, the latest consensus with the new season of 90 Day, people are saying they're kind of bored. Maybe this episode could change some minds. Let's see. So, I'm gonna start with one of the show stealers of the night, Shay and Annabelle. So Shay is with his dogs and he's trying to clean up a bit. He knows Annabelle is somewhat of a clean freak and he's like the total opposite. He says he claims Annabelle is allergic to dog hair, but she just probably doesn't want dog hair all over the house. Who wants that anyway? So he's going to go pick her up. And he can't wait to get scrubbed up again the day that they met the first time. So his thoughts in his head, he's worried about these cheating allegations coming up from his ex, Nicole. These things can happen as she arrives. He says he doesn't feel like he was cheating. He was just fooling around at the parties, a kiss here, a kiss there. It wasn't really cheating to him. He says he's had two marriages and they pretty much hit his wallet pretty hard. Either she's the one or they're going to be together forever or not. This will be marriage 3 for him. So he's nervous at the airport holding his little bouquet of flowers. And they share kind of a warm welcome. She can't stop crying. A few little kisses here and there. And she said she was just really emotional. She hadn't seen him in 2 years. And she did say, looks like he got his belly back. His I don't know if you call it dad bod. I don't know if that's dad bod. But he gained weight, basically. She says he needs to do some walking and Zumba. She's going to get him back into check. And she said she can't wait to get to bed. She touches his manhood area. And why do we get to see this on camera? She says she's going to use that later. So it's a scary scene to me. Like, what are you trying to do to my eyes, TLC? What are you trying to do to our eyes? Because, okay, they go to, I believe it's like a hotel, but it used to be a Methodist church. So they're like, we're going to do some things that shouldn't even be done in the church. Why did you guys choose this place? Anyway, he thought she would like the place, the stained glass windows or whatnot. But they're going to do some unholy things in this hotel. And they are yet. No, they're not married. They're going through that 90-day process, right? So he gets the scrub up that he's wanted since the first day that they got together. He gets another scrub up. And why did you guys show me this? He's in the tub. I don't want to see that. She scrubs his, we don't see all the things she scrubs, but we know she says she scrubbed the manhood. Then she's using the same cloth to scrub his face. I was like, this is kind of gross. We see too much. We see way too much of Shay that I didn't want to see. And he doesn't have to stand up in the tub for me to see too much. I know too much information about that scrub that I didn't want to know at all. So then they get into bed and they, they're covered up with the covers, but they say things that I don't want to know. And that was a scary scene for me. And I was like, TLC, you've shown me way too much. I don't know if she has a clean fetish. Is he just, is this relationship all built around the fact that she can clean him well and get the parts of him that he can no longer reach? Because honestly, it's like she has a clean fetish and he's really dirty and needs to be cleaned. And this is the main need that they meet for each other. So I don't know. And then that gets him excited and I don't want to know what happens after that. Now, what did you guys think about the fact she's saying he gained some weight and, he needs to walk and do some Zumba? For me, I don't know. A lot of women will be upset if a guy says that to them, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like she's just trying to keep him together, because you see how she has to clean him. He's like a big little boy that needs to be kept in line, so to speak. There are some men that are like that. There are some women that are like that as well, And if that works for your relationship, that's fine. As long as you guys are meeting each other's needs and it's not a one-way situation. I feel like she's trying to take care of him and help him and his health as well. As long as she doesn't speak too rudely in front of him about that, but encourages him when it comes to fitness and losing a few pounds. To me, I think she's just really trying to help keep him in line with his life, his body. And honestly, if you are more attracted to a certain look in your partner, I don't see anything wrong with trying to help them get there in a positive way if they want to. If they're offended and they don't like this, then either you're going to have to deal with it or you're going to have to move on to someone that is a better fit for you, that is going to do those changes or is already what you want in the first place. So I don't think you should expect people to change for you. But if you desire a certain look, I don't see any reason of not speaking that in a nice, kind way, in a motivating way, and not in a way where you're bashing the person. To me, I say, go ahead. Why not? This dynamic works for me. I've seen other dynamics where, to me, it was rude, it was mean, it was disrespectful, and you already know that's a sore issue for the person. Then, yeah, I've seen that. So, in this case, I think it was okay. What did you guys think? I don't know if I want to even see any more moving forward with these guys. I think I've seen it all, and there's nothing left to see. Katie and Josh, on their way to the hotel, they sing the national anthem. Josh is just happy they have a hotel room. He was hoping that she didn't have it set up where they were going to sleep in the car. So she's eating Cheetos. I love Cheetos. I'm a Cheeto fan. He hates the Cheeto. He hates the smell, the Cheeto fingers. Well, she says, don't bash my Cheetos. You smell bad, especially your breath. Yeah, he just got off of, I'm sure, a long trip to get to there to go see her. And she's going to tell him that he stinks. Kind of reminds me of another couple there. But honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of those people stink when they're going on those long trips and coming back, especially guys. They do have fresheners that you can freshen yourself up, probably in the rest area, but still, you're not going to smell fresh. They were going to go on a little bit back and forth, but he says he knows she's like this. She's straight up blunt. She's like a Tasmanian devil. And, she says she has wild thoughts, and she talks about, she just had a thought of driving without clothes. Why? He says she's a comical menace. She's a menace, but a comical one, and she's not harmful. So they arrive at the hotel. And he says she went from menace to sweet because she has all of these nice decorations, this salute to America all around. And he's loving the fact that she was so thoughtful. She's stressed about them being together in the bedroom for the first time. Again, after a while of not seeing each other. And she feels that if they don't do anything, that he doesn't want her and she needs to feel wanted. So he's hoping that they can make commitments to each other, and one of her commitments she needs to make is not kissing other guys. And he says that you could be loving without being in the bedroom in that way. And she says, no, this is how she knows that she's wanted, is that she has to be in the bedroom. So I think it can be kind of a love language situation. For me, if you could just show physical affection, that's good. If the person doesn't want to show physical affection, then I will feel some type of way. If you just go straight to the bedroom, and what if there's no physical affection? I feel like there's something missing there. I guess it takes all of that when it comes to that scenario, but for her, I don't know. It's just a lot of women would, I think, prefer physical affection over just going to the bedroom. But hey, I understand where she's coming from, because if you're not showing any sexual interest in me, then I probably would feel some type of way. It's understandable. I think most women would feel that way, and I'm sure men will feel that way too if you're not showing any interest, that you just don't want to be with me. But some people are more into cuddling and cozying up to each other and not doing everything, and you just have to have the right fit of person with you in order for this to work out, because I feel like there are times when in a relationship people will do everything, but of course you have to have a nice time of just being affectionate, and that's not always about going into the bed. That's my take on it. You know, everybody's different. Katie, to me, has a more masculine vibe when it comes to being in the bedroom, and she seems like she does have a high appetite. So I don't know if they match on that, and I definitely think that's a love language situation. Even though I think the love languages say physical touch, but that all goes in the same area to me is the bedroom as well. That's what I think. It could go to that length, or it could just be, you know, hugging, kissing, and just showing, holding hands that you are romantic and you care about that person and you want to be close to them. But let's continue. So, you know, they didn't do anything that night. Sounds like some other couples on here, but the next day they did. Yeah, it reminds me of one of our recent couples here on the 90-Day World. But basically because they were both tired, which makes common sense. People are people, right? So, she feels like they're in a good place now. And if they continue to be romantic like this or stay in the bedroom, according to Katie, she thinks they're in a good place and they're ready to explore being married within this 90-day process. So she shows him the neighborhood. There is a random goat here that they touch the random goat. And she's like touching the goat's mouth, but has no food. I mean, the goat probably would try to bite you. I think it was weird. I kind of think it was a weird as a random goat there, but he said, hey, that's the area. Guys, remind me what area or what city that is, or state. So she starts talking about how she made out with 90% of the guys at some club she was at. And it was happening while they considered themselves in a relationship. She does warn him because she's going to have like a welcome party for him tonight. She warns him that she'll let him know where her headspace is at because she may do this again, even though this is like a big issue between them that he doesn't like. We get to the party and we get to hear some accounts from her friends, and she, one of her friends lets us know, that she's made out with her and other women. So she makes out with guys and girls. So he's hoping she's going to be good at this welcome party. He's talking to some of her exes, and then they start talking, and she's like, yeah, I banged these two guys 3 times. And I'm like, did she do a threesome with these guys? I was kind of confused. Did she just sleep with these guys separately 3 times, or was it both of the guys together 3 times? This is a wild bunch of people to me. I mean, if that's the thing that they do. And they're like sharing each other, and she's sharing all of this group of people. Like, what are you guys doing? She said, she speaks bluntly. She said it's crossed her mind, because she's been with these guys before. But she's like, no, she's in this with him, but it has crossed her mind. And he's like, excuse me? He's like trying to see where she's going with this. But again, she speaks her mind, and she will tell you straight up what's in her head. In a way, that could be a benefit. In a way, that could definitely put someone off. It's just not the way we do things in this world, right? I mean, you have one-on-one conversations with your partner, and you can get deep on things, but to just say what's in your head, even if it may be painful, and if you don't say it right, this is kind of what she does because of her OCD. He's hoping that this is not a massive waste of time, and that she doesn't basically end up making out with a bunch of people. And this is something he's going to have to go through during their whole relationship, where he doesn't know what to expect. Excuse me, sir, she has OCD. You've been around her long enough. When you met her, it was a weird thing. She tried to make out with you when she was with another guy. Why do you not see she has all these issues, and then you expect her to change out of the blue? Is she getting therapy? Is she on medications or whatever she needs? Is she making any progress toward that? Then maybe I could see him having hope and giving her a chance. But if she's not doing anything differently, and it's just based on she loves you, that's not going to be enough, especially if she has a medical condition and she's been used to living this life and nobody's putting her in check. Why do people think that someone's going to do a total 180 for them just because of the L word? And especially in these conditions, Because, sometimes people say, well, I'll change. I'll be a better person for you. Fine. That's your habits and things that you can probably work on. But this is like kind of a medical thing at the same time. So it's not going to be that simple. And again, like if she's not getting any medical help, how do you think things are just going to change out of the blue? And honestly, in this scenario, love is not enough. All right, now let's get to Debbie and Mito. There's an age difference here by, I think she's in her later 50s and he's like 41. I may be wrong on that, guys. Give me a check. I guess the age difference can be workable here. He's in his 40s. You would think that that's mature enough to deal with a 50-plus-year-old person, right? So Debbie, she works in insurance, and she's bringing her dog to work, and she's like, this is my life, and she's talking about insurance, and it seems pretty boring, but it's kind of cool she gets to bring her dog with the doggy bed. She must have a nice setup and be pretty good at selling this insurance stuff anyway. But she says, that's boring, but I met Mito, and this is the exciting part. He's an Egyptian movie star. He's an actor, model. I met him in Egypt with the trip with my daughter. He's famous. He's got over 100,000 followers plus. But he doesn't actually show her his work when the producers ask. She doesn't know what he's actually been in. And he says, well, she won't understand, so I'm not going to really show her right now. But she says he's got hundreds of thousands of followers, so I know he has to have something going on. People can buy followers, I'm just saying. Or people can follow you for different reasons other than that. If you've been in the social media game, depending on what you bring, people can get a lot of followers, but they may not have a whole lot going on financially other than that. Now, there's some YouTubers that are pretty big. They're doing pretty well, but I don't know if it's to the point of, I'm getting paid to be an actor. I'm getting paid to be a model. Is it that type of money? I don't know. So there's questions. She loves his banter. She was annoyed at him at first. And her daughter had to tell her, he was a tour guide when they were in Egypt. The daughter had to say, this annoying thing that this guy's doing, he's actually flirting with you, right? So as they were climbing down one of the pyramids, he decides to kiss her. She was shocked. She was like, "What? Is this really happening?" It had been a long time since she'd been in any type of relationship. So this guy just out of the blue kisses her, which I think is somewhat romantic, but a little bit creepy because I don't know. It's just, you just met this guy and he's a tour guide and he kisses you and he throws you off guard completely. To me, I think it's a little invasive. I don't know. Anyway, she's FaceTiming and, asking him, is he nervous for the trip? He's asking her to print headshots for him. Like, well, why don't you just print your own headshots? I don't think that's illegal to take into the country. Why can't he print his own headshots? So he wants to act in the U.S. as soon as he gets there. And the question is, what if that doesn't happen? Her daughter comes and they talk and she kind of critiques the situation and the photos that were printed out. They look like Instagram model and not actual acting headshots. They look like wannabe headshots. I mean, not wannabe, but wannabe model photos versus real model photos, right? So he even wants her to move to LA, maybe New York. And her daughter's like, the priority should be you guys' relationship first. Why is his first priority trying to act and make it big? It seems a bit sketchy. Also, the question that he never posts her on socials, that comes up. And he said his socials is for work only, but she's upset because she sees posts of him with other women, but there are other women in his industry, right? She says, is he in this for a relationship or his dream? She has grown kids, but she wants them to think highly of her. She doesn't want them to think she's making a foolish choice here. So her daughter and I think her son are grown and, she can do what she wants. They're on their own. I guess they're doing good at life, but she still doesn't want to look like a mom that is just doing some crazy stuff for this rando guy, which I get it. She still wants to put be a good role model for them, even though they're grown and out of the house at this point. She doesn't want to look like a fool, but I honestly wouldn't want to look like a fool, period, versus not just my kids, but period. But I get what she's saying. So now she's going to go hang out with her girls. The dogs are like sleeping in the bed, and she's like telling her dog, hey, you can't really sleep or lay in the bed anymore because Mito believes that, in his culture that the dog should be outside. They shouldn't even be in the house. So then she goes and meets her girlfriends and reveals that, Mito has never slept with anyone. He is truly the 40-year-old version. He's 41 at this point. So they're asking, what does he do? What can he do? They have kissed. She said she thought he was uninterested, but then that's when he explained that he is a virgin. And her friends are kind of skeptical at this point. And also, the picture of this young lady on the socials, she's an Egyptian actress. I guess this picture keeps coming up. So she's calling the young lady the B word. And they broke up over this. She feels that, he says she's just working with him and it's a work situation, but she doesn't believe that. And she feels like it's more to it. So I think she tried to make sure that they cut things off so that they could stay together. So I guess they ended up getting back together after that scenario. What is his agenda? What are the friends asking? Are you going to walk into this in blind faith? That's kind of what she's doing. The acting scenario, his abstaining, and the social media battles, these are all things that are coming up that are struggles for her. She said, is this real? Is she lucky enough for this to be a real thing or not? She's going to take the chance and find out. It's just been a real trip, this whole scenario. So next, she's crying because she can't reach Mito. And his flight is tomorrow to the U.S. Will he or won't he be there? So we find out his father isn't well. He's really upset. And to me, I don't feel like he should be acting that way. And she's acting badly as well. He's upset. I can understand you being upset that your father is ill. And I don't know if she's been giving him flack because she doesn't know if he's coming or not because of the father. So he says he needs 10 to 13 days. And she doesn't know what he's going to do. She's like, will anything change during that time? So it's like, to me, she's still trying to push him to come. But she says he's gone silent on her before. And this is the first time. There's always something that comes up, I guess, that stops him from coming. So I think part of her is like, she's not sure if his father really is going through something or he's just trying to find another excuse to not come. And then another thing, I think she just wants to see him. I was in a situation where I was seeing someone that needed a passport. For some reason, they couldn't get their passport stuff together. I came to see them more than they came to see me, right? So I could understand wanting to be with that person that you care about, and it's just not possible. So she's probably exhausted over that and kind of emotionally exhausted on that scenario. But when your father or someone's relative or mother, father, or close relative is ill, I think you should have a little more grace for that person. And then there's also a fear of leaving your country. I can understand that too. Maybe he is dragging his feet just because he's not really sure how things are going to go. He's had some fear involved. It could be other things going on that he's just not being fully forthcoming about. But the father situation could be real, and I'd hate to be mean to somebody and mistreat them and their father or their mother or their relative is really ill. So this is a big moment for her to show who she really is and have some grace for this guy. But also for him on his end, why is he being upset at her? Maybe he's upset at her because she's giving him pressure to still come. And I think that's probably why. That's why he said he needed the 10 to 13 days. About a couple weeks is what he said for his dad. This is a hard scenario, like I said. I understand both sides when it comes to this situation, but I think they both kind of need to tiptoe and just have a little more care for each other's situation. But the fact that he goes silent at times is stressful, and it's something that I kind of would not trust. If this is a pattern for him, that's pretty much a big red flag that he will go silent from time to time for just no apparent reason. Like, it'd be different say, okay, babe, I need some space. Let me know. Give me a heads up. Sorry I haven't talked to you, but, sometimes I need to do this. But you just go silent, then you talk again, then you go silent, then I don't get any explanations. I don't really like that. What were you doing while you were silent, right? Then another thing I thought, why don't you go on his social media, But like he said, it's just for work, so he may not even put anything personal within there. So I don't know if that's going to be the true test of what's really, going on, because I would need another person to verify, is he really being honest? And if you have to check up on someone so hard, I mean, why be in a relationship with that person? Because there are people in the U.S. that you have to check on so hard. People that'll go silent, come back and forth. People do that in the U.S. as well. And if I have to, go look through this guy's social media, call his sister or his cousin to see where he's at, if I have to do these type of things all day, that's a whole nother job in itself. When do I get to the part where I get to enjoy the relationship? It's really not a good relationship, and it's stressful, and it's a waste of your time at the end of the day. So if I have to keep trying to check up on someone to see, now again, like I said, he's in another country, he may be kind of fearful to come to the U.S. Okay, understandable, but I feel like this lady got her heart hijacked by this random guy and kind of what they call love bombed. And then now she's tied to this guy that may not even have any good intentions, may not even care for her that way. But this is when people use love as a weapon and they use it to get what they want. So I think, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, just be careful. Don't let people love bomb you to the point where you're destroyed over them. For what? They don't even care for you in the same level, in the same way. They just know how to push your buttons and make you feel good and cared for. But truly, how they treat you at the end of the day is the true test of who and what they're really about. Yeah, people have challenges, and sometimes you have to work through things, and sometimes people are worth it, and sometimes people aren't. And sometimes people try to work through things with you, and you try to work through things with them, but they never get to the right place. You kind of have to let that go. You have to let that go. All right. We see a moment with Marissa and Edward's scenario. Basically, Marissa is doing damage control before Edward even gets there. She has 50-50 custody with her ex, with her two sons. She goes from New York, which is her job, to Pennsylvania. She goes from work, being like this driven work career girl, back home to her family. She does, the sporting events. She does all the things for the kids. So she's really burning the candle at both ends. She really enjoys the Pennsylvania life better than the hustle and bustle of New York. Home is quieter, is happier there. We see her sons, Derek and Cole. And I don't feel really comfortable with showing my kids. These kids are 10 and 11. For me, I would not show my kids in this. Honestly, I just don't feel comfortable with showing my kids, especially at that age. Make them 18 or something and they say, okay, I want to be on. Okay. But to me, they're too young. But I guess if they're going to be following this couple and living with them and the kids are going to be there, I guess there may be glimpses of the kids. But like I said, you can always edit that and say, hey, I don't want my kids seen in this show. So I think it's a little much for her kids to be in the show unless she's trying to get them ready for stardom, or unless the kids are like, yeah, I want to be on TV. Then maybe that's the scenario. I don't know. So she describes her two sons very contrasting. In a way, she says she likes the contrast, but in a way, it could be some type of way if the kids look back and see, what does mom think of us here? But she talks about Edward, and they're excited because she promised them a dog. So it sounds like she's bribing them already to accept Edward. The older son, he's only older by a year or so. So he says it's only been a year that they've been together. It's weird. And he's asking, will he have money? Will he have a job? Where will he work? I wonder if his dad kind of coached him into these questions, because he's got some really good questions, by the way. He's like, well, she's explaining his work situation and how much money he doesn't make versus how much they make in the U.S. I think that's kind of not the best way to explain it to this kid who's probably going to go tell dad that this guy doesn't even make that much money. And even though it's understandable from country to country, young kids may not understand it that way. and just think this is some broke guy, right? The way that she's going about this, I think, is kind of bad with the whole situation with the kids being involved. I don't like it. He also expresses the older one talks more. The younger one's kind of just looking like, I don't know. He didn't really have much to say, right? So the older one is like the spokesperson. He says he doesn't want this guy to take the place of his dad. He feels like it's just another guy just coming to live with us in our house. It does seem weird, right? And she says, he's not going to replace their dad, of course. The kid even tells her to take it slow. Come on. Why are these kids being smarter than the adults here? She lets us know the divorce was challenging, but the boys are her number one priority. And if they're not happy with this new scenario with Edward, that she will have to cut things off. But she's telling the boys to try to stay positive. And I get it. Go in a positive manner. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Honestly, I don't think she's going to let it be that simple. But also for me, I know coming from African American culture, black culture, mama's going to do what mama wants to do. She's not going to check in with the kids. I mean, she'll check in and see how you're doing, but she's still going to do what she wants, right? So for me, I understand her checking in with the kids, but for me to just say, okay, I'm gonna throw this man away if the kids don't like him. Now, if they have very legitimate reasons of not liking him, I get it, but this whole scenario is weird, and I understand why they don't even like this in the first place. As a person of faith, that's why I say, God had a reason why he made the things the way he made it. Divorce is something that should be a few and far between situation, because especially if you have kids involved, it confuses them. Now you have to start a whole new family. What about dad? They know it's not the natural order. They know it feels wrong. It messes with them, and it messes with kids like their whole life. And when they become adults, it's still something that can sit with them. So it's kind of weird. And to me, for the 90 days, and maybe what she should do, I don't know if she's displaced the kids. She'll displace the kids to that level. But maybe the kid should live with dad for the next 90 days and say, this is the time to let him live with dad. Why not? At least they know dad in the scenario better than this new random guy. Give it 90 days. And if the 90 days works for you guys, then the kids come along. Now, maybe I'm wrong, because if the 90 days works good for them, but then when the kids come, things are bad, then you do kind of have to see what's going to happen. And for me, I would probably have them go between dad's house and there and just kind of get a glimpse and not have them sit all the way in the middle of this when you guys are trying to figure out if you guys should even be together in the first place, and all these kids had to be thrown into it as well. Maybe do a little bit more back and forth, which they kind of do that already. We'll see how this plays out. It seems kind of complicated to me, especially with the kids involved. And this one kid is very opinionated. So finally we have Aisha and Maxwell. And Aisha is telling her mom she's going to the attorney to check on things with Maxwell. So I'm assuming she lives with her parents. She tells her mom he's devastated. And, what are the options? She's going to check out what the options are. She says God is on her side. So she's trying to say, why would this even happen? She thinks an appeal will be best, so they won't have to restart this whole process over again. So she's picking up her godbrother to come with her. His name is Rod. He's weary of the whole Nigerian scammer scenario that, we've all know of. So he's thinking it's going to be something like that. That's what she's into. So he's questioning her, saying, have you given up on Americans? There's Nigerian Americans here. I tried to hook you up. And she says she has a whole list of what she wants in a man. And the list is pretty lengthy. She said every man should possess this. No smoking, no drinking, no kids. If you're 38, depending on the type of guy, the age range guy you're looking for, the fact that he has no kids, that's kind of a slim chance if you're a 38-year-old person and you're looking for someone in a similar age range. She doesn't like big feet. He has to be wealthy, have pretty teeth, love God again. Again, it's a really long list. Now, the big feet, now the teeth, I won't say pretty, but decent teeth. You know, we can get the teeth worked on, right? So I just hate to see what else is on that list, but she let us know it's pretty lengthy. Her godbrother just wants her to know that he's worried about her safety and the whole unknown scenario. So when they do get to the lawyer does talk to her about possibly just getting that spousal visa, marrying him first, then getting the spousal visa, which means she has to go to his country, be there for a bit, you know, get acclimated, marry the guy before she even knows everything she needs to know. I think the 90-day process would be really important. I think at this point, they're still trying to figure out legally what she's going to do and how it's going to work, but she just knows that she's going to get things to work in her favor. If I missed anything on this couple, let me know, guys. Drop it in the comments. Email me at cbizmedia1@gmail.com. But Aisha, I think you say Aisha, Ashia. I hope I'm saying it right. Aisha. She's determined. She's a woman of God. She's going to get what she wants at the end of the day. And, you know, that's all I know. And we'll see. Because sometimes people, this is the perfect person for a man or woman to attach to. A person of God, person that's determined. They're going to get what they need to get. And they believe God is saying that you're that person. They're going to move mountains to get you and to make everything work. This is the perfect person to attach to if you are a scammer, because they're going to make sure you get everything you want in the name of God. That's kind of messed up. So I hope she vets this situation properly, and I hope she doesn't do the spousal visa first. She just needs to get to know who the heck this guy is. 90 days, bring him here and see how he acts up, and then you can send him on back. I mean, I'm not going to predict he's going to act up, but if he does, at least you'll know and you don't waste your life with the wrong element. A lot of times when people say, you know, I've been praying for God for this, and then if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, you think it's a duck. I've been in that scenario where I thought it was a duck, but it wasn't. Especially if you've been waiting for this for a long time in your life, and you're just like, God has finally answered my prayers. Sometimes that's not really a prayer being answered. Sometimes it's the enemy being a copycat, trying to make you think one thing and not the other. All right, guys, so that's my take on this episode of 90 Day. It was a little bit more interesting. What are your thoughts, comments, questions? Email me at cbizmedia1@gmail.com. We will talk again right here. This is Irene, Faith, Love, and Trends. All the best, and God bless.